So, if the skin trial is indeed mark the start and the end of the patch, so maybe 2.8 could be a shorter patch with 35 days. In every live service game, the new patch is the heartbeat. Fresh content, fresh story beats, new waifus, new gooning arcs. That cycle is what keeps the whole ecosystem alive. And this is one of the biggest pressure points for any developer. Each update acts like a retention filter. Players either stay, drift away, or outright quit depending on how well the balance is handled. Because let's be real, in gacha games, graphics alone doesn't carry the experience. You need the right blend of the QoL updates, events, and the story progression to keep the title thriving patch after patch. Yesterday, Wuthering Waves finally aired their 2.8 special program, and the hype leading up to it was massive. People were expecting something big, especially after what many players call as the drought period. But once the stream ended, yeah, I know, you know, we know, this wasn't the bombshell update some people were hoping for. I even saw this one person going so low on the review. 2.8 is such a letdown, another filler patch, combat is meh, no endgame content update, story focus. Huh? Okay map. Character is okay, but I'm mad bullying was not on the first page banner. And where is the 3.0 teaser? For the hype that coming with it, it's 2.5 out of 10. While I personally won't say this patch is the greatest, definitely not a 10 out of 10, but it also does not deserve to be dragged down to a 2.5 disaster score. I do agree if the livestream is not too detailed in terms of some aspect which might cause some misunderstanding. Like they did not confirm will 𝗖cie be able to apply the howwuthering status or not, because looking at her echo set, it sounds like she will be able to apply that. But still, I don't think it's a fair reading of what's actually going on here. Again, it's all about personal preference, but you need to understand that this patch does introduce structural value to the game as a whole. Call me glazing, but unlike previous patches that lean heavily into narrative focus, and that's basically all you can see, version 2.8 takes a noticeably different approach. This time, they did not go all into the story or spectacle. Instead, they aim for something more balanced. Remember, balance. And by balance, I mean they actually revisited parts of the game that most players barely even think about on daily basis. They went back to the system and features that had potential but were left sitting in the background and decided to polish them and bring the unused value forward. A good example of this quiet but meaningful improvement is the negative status rework. Up until now, the only debuffs that really matter in practice were arrow erosion and spectral frazzle. Everything else existed but didn't actually influence gameplay in a significant way. With the upcoming changes, these statuses finally gained mechanical weight. howwuthering, for instance, it used to be nothing more than a small havoc damage. Now, it applies a 2% defense reduction per stack, up to 3 stack max. That's a fundamental shift. It turns a forgotten gimmick into a legitimate team-wide damage amplifier. And the bigger picture matters here. This rework opens design space. It means future characters can scale with or apply these varied debuffs instead of relying purely on raw numbers or familiar buff loops. It diversifies how teams are built and how characters can find value. And another small thing that's actually pretty decent is the new area. The map expansion in this update is actually a pretty big deal, as the version that basically serves as the wrap-up for the entire 2.x cycle. Kuro made a surprisingly bold decision here. They dropped a fully new city, not just a small annex, but a whole isolated region that isn't connected to Qiuyuan or Huanglong at all. That's a huge production choice for what is essentially a transitional patch, and this city isn't some copy-paste extension either. It's a place that trapped in the time loop, resetting itself through destruction again and again, which already a strong thematic hook. Aesthetically, it's complete distinct. You've got metropolitan architecture, fresh new vibes, and that sakura-like tree acting as a visual anchor. It feels fresh without being disconnected from Wuthering Waves' identity, and most of you will probably agree that this place looks stunning. So I genuinely don't know how this map expansion ends up getting a meh. If anything, this is the kind of content that usually gets highlighted as a major version milestone. Moreover, 2.8 is doing something that some other games traditionally avoids near the tail end of a version cycle, shipping a main story quest. And not just one, two. Both of it will take place in the Hanami city. From the preview alone, we already know that Black Shore will play a role in this quest, and that is actually a good signal. It suggests that Kuro is making a quiet correction to one of their longest standing narrative flows, older characters becoming functionally irrelevant in the future arcs. I'm not expecting deep integration yet. Baby step, but it's steps nonetheless. And then we hit the "where is the 3.0 teaser" discourse, probably the loudest talking point after the stream, and I'm part of that group at first. And honestly, from an analytical standpoint, this expectation was built on nothing. It's pure projection. If you actually track Kuro's marketing history, there's a clear pattern. They do not preview major regions inside routine version livestream. How are we expecting a major version updates preview, 3.0 preview on a 2.8 livestream program? Take 1.4 for example. No special program, no big reveal. They drop a trailer, push the patch, then 1 week later, they release a standalone video titled Next Stop 𝗖ecie𝗽𝘆𝗵𝘁. I think that's their playbook. Major regions get their own spotlight, not risking a 20-second teaser buried at the end of version livestream. So the frustration we're seeing now is not the result of Kuro breaking a trend. It's players inventing a trend that never existed and getting upset when reality didn't match the headcanon. And if we're talking probability, a region of 3.0 scales is a marketing gold. So yes, there's a very clear chance we will see the 3.0 reveal the same way, dropping it as an independent announcement. Or, considering the timing and how publishers usually write global hype cycles, maybe they will tease it at the Game Awards? And one last thing, I promise. One thing I noticed from the official post, seems like 2.8 might be a shorter patch, because Zani's skin will be available for trial from 2.8 goes live to December 24th, which is 34 days. And if you look at Changli's skin back then, the trial is available from June 12th, when 2.4 first aired, to July 23rd, which is 41 days. So, if the skin trial is indeed marked the start and the end of the patch, so maybe, just maybe, 2.8 could be a shorter patch with 35 days. But anyway, you can see this patch as boring or good, but you cannot deny there's a good improvement happening to the game. While some people are upset with how the stream only shows that this version only have 2 combat events, bullying on the second patch, it did not have the 3.0 teaser, I think it will be okay. Standalone video might come soon after 2.8 goes live. And looking at the last 4-star character, hopefully we can still buy bullying in the store with the coral so you don't have to spend your astrites to get a random character. And let's hope it will indeed be a shorter patch so we can see 3.0 sooner. So after all, if you ask me, I think I will give this version an 8. But it could be changed, because it's too early to judge a version that is not even here yet. So, what do you think about all this? What would you rate version 2.8? Let us know in the comment section. So, that's all for today. Thanks for watching.